Welcome to the Podcast Lab. The Podcast Lab is a dedicated space for content creators and people who want to record high quality, high standard video podcasting. And any kind of content, actually, you wish. It could be courses, live Zoom, webinars, but it's mostly directed toward podcast and content creators. You can visit us at thepodcastlab.io and see all our different packages and tiers we have for renting the place and using it for your own benefit. It's also important to mention that we have an automated editing system, which means that by the end of your session, by the end of your podcast, you will already have an edited file ready for distribution. The following conversation was with my friend Merit. She's a fitness expert and a personal trainer here in beautiful sunny Ericeira, and we will discuss about different ways of training yourself, keeping in shape, and all sorts of interesting topics like the future of coaching and the future of work and all kinds of cool stuff. So I hope you enjoy. Give a like and subscribe to the channel and visit us at thepodcastlab.io. Nice to have you here, Merit.
Thank you. Nice to have me. Or thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure. Mm-hmm. So before I'm going to give you this explanation and a brief explanation about the space and which is a big reason why I like you being here and doing this podcast with me. I would actually ask you to tell me and whoever listen and view about yourself.
So, my name is Merit, of course, and I was born in Chicago, but under a very Estonian influence. My grandparents are all born in Estonia. My dad's side of the family was born Canadian. My mom's side is American, but very Estonian influence. I knew the language before English, but spent my time growing up in Chicago, and then I left to Australia when I was 17, did my 1 year of high school there, did my university there, so I was there for 5 years. Fell in love with fitness when I was there, because kind of before. I started training when I was about 13, and then Australia is it has a huge fitness industry, and I got really into it when I was at university there, and kind of carried that on for myself. I became a personal trainer, certified personal trainer, just for my own interest, to help my own training in the gym. COVID hit. I left Australia at the time. I was traveling around Europe and Morocco when COVID happened, and when I was in Morocco, things were shut down completely. We couldn't do much. I was staying with a group of new friends, almost strangers actually. In Morocco, we were staying in an apartment together, trying to just survive the lockdown. And we got bored. So we started working out. And I, as a certified personal trainer, was like, all right, I'll just run these little group sessions with them upstairs on this rooftop that had absolutely nothing but bricks and blocks and stuff around us.
Rough.
So I started,
Rough
completely. Have you seen my old videos?
I've seen like bits and pieces, and I've just seen now that you been to Morocco now, and I think you wrote where it's all started.
Yes.
So this was like, this gave you the whole inspiration.
Yeah, and I mean, with COVID, before COVID, I was so heavily reliant on the gym, like lifting weights. And so when COVID was happening, there was no gyms, so you had to become really resourceful with what you used around you. But this taught me a lot, because I felt, wow, you can actually work out and train really hard without any equipment, or you can still stay in shape. And I started exploring different ways to challenge my fitness without the gym. And so mobility became a huge part of my routine during COVID. And I started teaching these new friends of mine during COVID how to work out and how to train. And I really liked it. It was super fun. So I carried that back to Portugal with me when I came back, and continued to train really small groups of friends, and then eventually just started doing classes, and then eventually became a full-time gig. So kind of really naturally happened, but not on purpose.
Okay. So just to get things organized. So you grew up in America.
Yeah.
Born in America.
Yeah.
and with like European, Canadian influence.
Yes.
Estonian
Yes.
mainly. And you speak the language, and it's like a Finnish,
Yeah.
Northern European kind of.
It comes from like the Finno-Ugric branch of languages,
Okay.
but to someone that doesn't know Estonian or Finnish, they sound really similar. So they
Okay.
sound really the same, and there's some overlap, but not a ton.
Yeah,
Not a
yeah.
ton.
This is what I thought. And letters is regular alphabet, or is it more like
They
the
don't have
Russian?
a C. They don't have a C.
Okay,
I
okay,
believe.
okay.
I hope I got that right. I think they don't have a C.
And then you traveled to Australia 17 by
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
So you finished. I mean, you just what about high school parents?
Yeah.
Were like, you can go on.
Yeah,
Spread
so
your
high
wings.
school. Yeah, so high school. I did 1 year of high school in Australia as an exchange student. So
Okay, I
my
got it.
mom went to Australia as well as an exchange student for a year in high school, and she talked so highly about it, and I was really excited to get out of high school. I didn't like my high school at all, and leave Chicago, and I always saw myself in a warmer place. And
Where in Australia? Sorry,
just south of Sydney, Wollongong. Do you know?
Okay, yeah,
So like an
yeah.
hour south of Sydney.
I know it,
So
I
I
know
grew
it.
up. I went to high school just outside of Wollongong, Dapto High School. For no one knows it, but it's funny if you do know it.
No, I don't know. I haven't been to Wollongong. I know where is it on
Yeah.
the map.
It's beautiful. I
But,
really loved it. I really loved it.
But I know Sydney very well.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, just an hour south of there. Went to 1 year of high school. Loved it. I made amazing friends who I'm very close with to this day. I loved everything about my experience there. And I didn't want to leave. 17-year-old me was like, I don't want to go home. And so I had to finish high school. So I did my my year 11 in Australia, had to go back to Chicago to finish high school, my year 12. And then I went straight back for university. There was really good university in University of Wollongong. They had a good science department. I wanted to study biology, which I did. I applied, I got in, and then I went back. So all in all, it was 5 years total, but
So-
I had a bit of a gap in between.
And so so you've done your uni
Yeah.
in Australia.
Yes.
Okay, so like Sydney, suburbs of Sydney, or about an hour, around Sydney area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's
Yeah.
it's actually similar to me. I did uni in Australia as well,
Where?
in Byron Bay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like communication.
Yeah. What's
Uh,
the uni there called?
It's called SAE.
Okay.
It's a private college.
Okay.
It's specializing in sound, filmmaking,
Nice.
Communication, media. And it was originally, the guy is actually a European guy. He opened it in the 70s originally in Sydney. It was
Okay.
a small technical school.
Yeah.
And then he grew and grew and grew, and then he opened many branches in Australia,
Nice.
Perth, Sydney, Melbourne, and he just he fell in love with Byron because it's an amazing settings, and he decided to build like the jewel of the crown, like the
Okay.
biggest like one, and then
Yeah.
it became like a private university, private college.
Got it.
So I spent 3 years in Byron, and I
Nice.
also went to Australia when I was 21 for about a year, just working and having fun, and this is how I learn about Australia, and
Yeah.
so it's a beautiful country, absolutely.
Yeah, it is. It's so nice. I mean, just far away.
Yeah, it's very far away, and they don't, and it seems like they don't really like people to come.
No.
They make it tough.
It makes it like that you can go, but you can't stay.
You can't stay. You
Like,
can't work. You
yeah,
can't be
yeah.
part of the system.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. I mean, I was on a student visa, which is great because you can stay in the country for as long as you're studying full time.
Yes.
But as soon as you graduate, I mean, I finished my last exam. 2 weeks later, I had to be out of the country. I couldn't even be at my graduation.
Oh,
I
really?
I was out before. Yeah, it's okay because
Yeah.
I had plans to travel and do other things, but they were like, no, you're done. Bye. And yeah.
Yeah, back in the day when I did it, because I was there, my uni years were 2007 until 2010, so it's
Okay.
a little bit. So you could stay for 6 months to arrange your things, and all 3 or 6 months after graduation.
Okay.
Because, it makes sense,
Yes.
you need to pack
Yeah,
things
you need
and,
to organize things.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I didn't know they are so strict right now.
Yeah.
So right now we are in Portugal, which is the Australia of California, or Australia
California, Europe, yeah.
of Europe in a
Yeah.
way. Cool. So and then Morocco got this whole gig starting, and then coming
Yes.
back here. But you've been here before in Ericeira.
Yeah. So before, so I left Australia June 2019, and then I traveled through Europe for I think 4 or 5 months. I started in Estonia, Italy, Spain, France, and then Portugal. Portugal was not really on my list actually to go. I wanted to go a bit more north, but the flights just worked out, and I had a friend down here, so I came here, and then I didn't know where Ericeira existed. I was in Lisbon, and it was boiling hot, and I just thought I just need to find.
Maybe I'm gonna.
Yeah,
excuse
sure.
me, I don't
It's
wanna,
okay.
I don't want to be.
No, it's fine.
rude.
Do you want me to move it up
Yeah, you can just be playful with it.
like this?
Yeah.
Better? And yeah, it was boiling hot in Lisbon, and I just said, I need to find a beach. I'm gonna find the closest one. The buses were like super easy at the time. It was like an hour and a half to Ericeira, and I ended up here, and it was amazing. I mean, I immediately made friends. I immediately fell in love with the town, as does everyone else, and I started to surf. So this is when I learned how to surf.
Oh, so you've been to Wollongong and you
Yeah.
didn't, because
I
they have
spent
some serious
5
waves over there.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. I spent 5 years in Australia and I didn't learn how to surf.
Wow.
I know, regret, but I have unfinished business in Australia now, so I have to go back. But learned how to surf, was learning, and then I wanted to continue. So people said it gets pretty big and wild here in the winter, so Morocco is a really good option if you want to continue. So that's why I went. So I had a friend from California. We went down together, and then COVID happened. So
Yeah, in Tagazout, and this happened in
yes.
Tagazout area.
Yeah, so I was like kind of floating around Tamrat, Tagazout,
Yeah.
Banana Village. Those I was living in all these different places, but
It's
I
like
was
5
there.
minutes from each other. Tagazout
Yeah.
is like a surf town. It's
Yeah. Have you
amazing.
been?
Yeah,
Okay.
a couple of times.
Yeah,
It's this beautiful desert kind of surf town
Yeah.
on the Atlantic. Great vibes and amazing point after point after point.
yeah,
Basically.
yeah. It's amazing.
And the thing is that the swell, when it gets there, it's get a bit more polished and a bit more. The size get reduced.
Yeah.
Because it's traveling a little bit far,
Right,
more far,
exactly.
and then it gets inside this bay, and it's really beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And did you surf Imsuan?
Yes.
Yes?
So yes, when I was there recently, we surfed there, and then my first trip there 4 years ago was the same.
Okay.
But yeah, beautiful. I mean, I do like it there a lot. It's nice, but a little bit smaller. I kind of compare it to like the Peniche of here. Like Imswan's like Peniche and Tagazout's like Ericeira, I think.
Yeah.
A bit more going on, a bit more south.
Yeah. It's both are really cool, and Imsuan is just a little, just Imsuan, just this
Yes.
little spot, and in Tagazout you can
Yeah, there's just
travel
more.
a bit north, a bit south, and you
Yeah.
can find more spots and a
Yeah.
bit more things going on, and you're closer to Agadir, which is a big city. You
Yeah.
can go there and markets and blah blah blah.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. And I wanted to talk to you about surfing. I actually wanted to talk to you about lifting and running and injuries and all kind of stuff. But I'm gonna push the surfing a bit
Okay.
earlier because we kind of got
Right.
into that. And as a fitness, as a personal fitness expert, surfing is. What do you think about it as a sport? I mean, is it something that you can rely on to get your feet game together in a
Right.
way, or is it something that kind of like just on the side, and you can't really just rely on surfing, and you need to add addition things? And what about how does surfing changes your body? I mean, what's the surfer body? Does it really changes the body? Does it makes you fitter? Does it you can build muscle? You can get your endurance better. As a what's your perspective about it?
So, surfing as a sport, in terms of exercise, I think it's amazing. I mean, well, it also depends on what kind of surfer you are. So, if there's not a huge paddle out, if you don't have to paddle a lot in the session, I mean, paddling is a lot of the exercise.
Yeah.
I mean, going against harsh currents, long paddle outs, you're using your arms for, I don't even know, minutes and minutes at a time. You never do this in the gym. So it's really good in terms of upper body strength, also lower body. If you're catching a ton of long waves, I don't catch I don't do these huge maneuvers. So my lower body isn't getting as much as my upper body is. But I think it's really, really good for the upper body. And I did a bit of research on it before I started running SDP. And there's not a significant amount of overuse injuries in surfers. So you'd think that, oh, wow, you're paddling so much, your shoulders are going to get overused. I've had bursitis in my shoulders before.
Bursitis? Just explain what it is.
It's inflammation pretty much in your bursa, in your joint. So it's an inflamed joint, often from overuse. So if you're, like for me, I was doing a lot of shoulder presses, never warming up my shoulders. I was just going straight in the gym, doing that, and then I was doing a lot of upper body work at the time. So I got bursitis. And you'd think that would translate over to surfing because you're paddling so much, but there's no overuse. There's not a ton of reports of overuse injuries from surfing. Most of the injuries from surfing come from falls. So falls or collisions, or you hit a rock or something like this. But in terms of the overuse injury, there's really not that much, at least reported. So I looked a lot into this. So it's in terms of that, a nice way to get great upper body strength. And then, I mean, for me personally, I'm just going off of my personal experience when I would take surf trips or not train at all and just surf. So I was in Mexico in February this year and didn't do anything but surfed. I just did a bit of mobility stuff in the mornings and then surfed 2 or 3 times a day. So 5 hours a day. And my upper body was incredibly strong. And I wasn't lifting anything like I am used to. And I felt really strong. I definitely leaned out as well in my upper body and my whole body. I mean, it's a ton of conditioning work as well. So it's like your heartbeat is going fast. Yeah. So the cardio aspect is there, the upper body strength work is there, lower body as well, but also core work is there.
Even when you're paddling, I think your core is working.
Yes, exactly. And when you're sitting, your core is working all the time.
Yeah, when you're sitting actually, and you're always...
Exactly. Yeah. So in terms of exercise, I think it's one of the best things you can do. If you enjoy it, of course, and if you want it to be more of an activity for you, like a part of your workout routine. I know I have some friends that say, I like to surf because it keeps me active. Then make it a workout for you. Paddle a little bit more, or take the longer way around instead of just going the easy way. Or paddle for more waves, or paddle around. Keep yourself warm in the water, because you can get a lot more bang for your buck that way, instead of just sitting there, and not catching much.
I would also recommend. I mean, I'm not a fitness expert at all, but I think I do surf for many years, and I think that if you say, okay, I'm going to surf once or twice a week, and that's it. No matter if there's waves, if it's stormy, if it's tiny, I'm just going to go. I have 1.5 hour, 90 minutes, and twice a week, and even that would be sufficient as I think what's important is the consistency. Yeah. So you say, okay, I'm doing twice a week. I'm checking the forecast, whatever works out for me, and because the problem with surfing is that it's not as consistent, and sometimes you can have because the good waves, you need to follow the tides, you need to follow the the forecast, and sometimes you can find yourself in between life and in between session few weeks apart, and then everything retracts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So this is what I would add to because the activity is amazing.
Yes.
It's not a lot of friction, and even falling is not that dangerous if you're not doing massive waves.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think you're right in terms of consistency. You should kind of make a goal for yourself if you are considering surfing as part of your exercise routine, then yeah, I mean, treat it like a workout, almost.
Yeah.
I actually just got this comment from a friend of mine. He's like, yeah, I like to surf as my workout routine. He's like, he sets a goal of himself for himself, 12 waves a session,
Okay.
which can be hard to do if there's not a lot of
Yeah.
waves or if there's a lot of people. But he won't leave the water until he got his
Okay.
12 waves.
He has
'Cause
time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, but he thinks surfing a lot is his way to stay in shape and stay active, which
Yeah.
I can completely agree with.
I believe it
Yeah.
completely. I think it's a great, and also just being inside the salt water.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
Something like it clears your sinuses.
Definitely.
It's,
Makes your nails grow faster. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. Actually, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Is there science behind that? I haven't looked that up.
I don't know. I think nails are.
It's like the minerals in the water. Or
Yeah,
something.
something. I think. I don't know, but it does. Yeah, it does. I clip my nails.
Yeah,
after
if I'm
surfing.
surfing a ton, my nails and my hair will grow fast. Well,
Really?
it breaks fast because it's salt water, but it will grow faster. Yeah, my skin is more clear.
Yeah.
Super
The
healthy.
salt water
Yeah.
is amazing, and even getting some sun,
Yeah.
moderate, it's also very healthy. Yeah, it's a great sport. Do you swim? Just I didn't write it, but I'm curious because
Yeah.
I remember I saw your photo with Dale. That you guys did.
We did a little photo shoot.
Yeah,
we did
yeah.
we got asked to be in a photo shoot for these like swim buoys. I think you
Yeah.
call them buoys. Americans say buoys. Yeah, the little swim floaty things.
So boats won't.
Yeah, so if you are swimming, free swimming or diving, you can be seen. But I did play water polo in high school. So I
really?
wasn't a swimmer, but I was in the water a lot. Chicago's on a lake, so we would go swimming every summer. And, my summers would be full of swimming. And then, water polo was really intense. Have you ever played water polo?
No, but I know a woman that
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah.
It's like handball inside the water.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
And the pool is very deep.
yeah, you can't touch the ground.
You can't.
So you have to be floating and your shoulders have to be above the surface.
Yeah.
So it's really intense on the body. I remember we would train morning and night, and the amount I was eating for a 15-year-old girl, it was disgusting.
Yeah.
I was like so many, like, because you burn so many calories in the pool. But yeah, so
Michael Phelps diet.
Huh?
Michael Phelps
I mean,
diet.
I understand why he eats the way he does. I mean, swimming is like
I don't think he does
insane.
right now, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. I love swimming.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Have you done the swim from Pescadores to
Yeah.
Sul? Super nice.
No.
Oh.
I didn't done this, but I've done they do once a year the Pescadores.
They do some swimming event there.
One. It's not that far. It's not that much. They do 1 mile, but
Okay.
it's competitive. So
Okay.
you go and you have a bracelet, and they time you. They just did it now
Oh,
in
cool.
October.
I had no idea this existed.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's like a cultural Mafra thing. It's called
Okay.
the Mafra Mile.
Okay.
And
Didn't know
yeah,
that.
there was quite a lot of swimmers. It was very competitive. I wasn't. I practiced a little bit in the pool up in Ericeira.
Yeah.
And I didn't evaluate how much it would be competitive when we started, because you start in a big cluster of people, and then you figure out that you need to keep up with everyone in the beginning at least. And I was like, after I think 600, 700 meters, I felt I have a heart attack.
Did you need to keep up with them, or you just felt like you should?
It's of course psychological, but there's also a physical aspect, because you are looking at everyone behind, because you're in this middle of a
Right.
fish.
Right.
Like a cluster.
pod, yeah,
and
yeah.
you're all together, and you're like, okay, what's going on? I should. So it's there's a psychological. Of course, if you be very slow, people will
Go around you.
go around you. But and it's great. I love swimming. I think
Yeah.
it's a fantastic sport. But
Yeah.
the thing I heard about swimming is that you don't get enough friction. I had this physiotherapist once explain me that in swimming, because you're always floating, you don't something about the bone density,
Okay.
and
I
you
see.
don't get enough of the
Resistance. Yeah, bone density is an important one, especially when you start to get older. Because
I
your
can
bones,
feel it now.
yeah, your bones get more frail and not as strong. And
Yeah.
so weight training is not only just to build muscle, but increase your bone density. And these high impact activities or If someone's a little bit overweight and has a lot of weight they're carrying all the time, their bone density is going to be higher because their bones are just strong. So I could see how swimming doesn't provide that, which is true.
Yeah. I was swimming a lot, and this physiotherapist told me that I should do more resistance.
Yeah.
This is just something I remember.
Yeah.
Cool. So from swimming and surfing to running and lifting, which is your thing. So running was a thing before, or was it like something new that you started doing lately?
Running has been like my first thing. Actually, I hated it when I was a kid.
Really?
I have asthma, so running would induce my asthma, make it worse. I've almost totally outgrown my asthma now. It's just allergy induced at the moment. But I hated running, but it was something that was just like free and easy, and I knew how to do when I was 13 years old. So I played amateur sports since I was a kid. I did gymnastics for a long time, but never good enough to make any teams. So when I went to high school, I went to a very sports-focused high school, very competitive varsity teams. I knew I wasn't going to make any of these teams, so I wanted to keep in shape. It was just part of my routine already. So I started running and going to the gym, and just started running like these 1 mile around my house, only because it was something that I knew how to do, and it was free, and I can do it whenever I wanted to, and I didn't need to drive to the gym. I didn't have a license. So I've been running for a while, casually, but I never signed up for a race before the marathon. I was always nervous about racing. I'm a competitive person, but I don't like the pressure of trying to win something. If it's like an individual sport, maybe no, that's wrong.
You don't
Just
really
with
win
running.
in a marathon.
No, yeah. I meant more in racing. Like I wouldn't sign up for like a track
I got
race.
it. Yeah, you didn't want to put yourself on the test in a way. You didn't want to like.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I'd been running for so long, and I thought, well, a marathon was always on my bucket list, and I was actually training for it last year in 2022. Hurt my knee, and so I couldn't run it. So that's why I ran it this year. But
And you did a full marathon.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's terrible. Have you done one before?
No, I did 10 kilometers.
Okay, decent.
Yeah, I did a few times, yeah. The thing about running is I found running the best sport for your mental endurance, or kind of like it. I think it's the because no matter what happens, you go out for a run, even if it's like 3 kilometers, and you put, you listen to a podcast, or you listen to some music, or even just with that, you always feel so much more motivated and so much more powerful after running.
Yeah.
I mean, I did some resistance training, I did some lifting, very little, and swimming, but nothing is comparable to the amount of motivation and clarity you get from running.
Yeah, definitely. I think like the feeling of running and the exhaustion that running brings is uncomparable to any other feeling that I've ever felt in terms of exercise.
Yeah.
I mean, surfing, you can be really surfed out and feel, euphoric.
Yeah, but even in surfing, running is like it's very because it's very repetitive, and you're very in your mind, because you kind of like really dive into your mind while running. So there is some meditation aspect to it, and even in swimming, I like swimming. You always like thinking, okay, how many pools I've done so far, and I need to look at that clock, and I need to figure out like just a second, 200 meters, 4 times 200 meters. There's like a little bit of calculating, and in running, there's nothing. You just you, and sometimes if you have a running app or something, you get like notification that you're just did a 1K or something. So I think this is. You really find a new depth and new clarity when running.
Yeah.
I maybe there are other sports you do, but in terms of what I know, this is the one For sure.
Yeah, because I think you can really put your body in autopilot to an extent.
Yeah.
If you don't have any injuries or anything that's like, nagging you when you're running, like a sore hip or whatever, you can really go into autopilot physically and
Yeah.
then mentally tap into these, into your, brain and
Yeah.
just be super in a meditative state. And in saying that, I think some people don't ever reach that because they don't like running because it's uncomfortable for them for some reason, or it's too hard. So they're just not focused up here. They're
Yeah.
really just focused physically. But yeah, I think running does really provide that. It's really meditative, and yeah, I just like you can do it anywhere all the time, and
Yeah,
it's
you can
great
do it
way
anywhere,
to,
and
to
it's
see
really
cities and new places and meet people. You can just go for a run, have a chat. Yeah, it's great.
The one thing about running, I have this. There's few things. Of course, there's the injury thing, and I started to have knee problems. I always had them because I'm lengthy and skinny, quite skinny. And the thing is that I tend to have knee pain, like really disturbing one. And
Yeah.
the last year, I even started to have this, like it feels like when I'm, my knee is having, like when I climb stairs, for example, I feel like there is sand in my knee.
Yeah.
That's really annoying, and I think it gets worse after running.
Yeah.
And it's so this is one thing, and it's really frustrating. And the second thing is that it makes me even skinnier. So I kind of find myself become like really.
Yeah. You don't like what it does to your body.
No, it's okay. Look, I hardly ever change.
Yeah.
I never get fat or never get too skinny. But I'm just it's kind of. It's just I guess I'm getting too lean in a way,
Yeah.
and I sometimes I don't like it, and it's a combination with the injuries. Like I think I need the opposite. I need like more mobility and more muscle
Right.
gain.
Strength,
You know,
maybe.
yeah, strength. Yeah, this is the one thing that's bothering me with running. How
Yeah.
do you cope with that?
So for me, I mean, these are, really common things. I mean, with the knees, a lot of people experience knee pain. I even felt it a lot more when I was in Chicago in September. I was running a lot on the road, only on the road. Here I run a lot more trails. And a month running on the road every day. This was like right before my marathon, so I was running a ton. Felt my knees, definitely getting sore, more painful. But I've realized, I mean, in my experiences the last couple of years, lifting, running, surfing, when I wanted to get more into running, I definitely last year when I hurt my knee, it's because I was weight training way too much and trying to run, training for a marathon. I was just like burning the candle at both ends. Is that the saying? Burning both sides,
yeah.
And I burned out.
You burned yourself completely. Burnt out.
And physically I gave out, and so I had to take a step back, reanalyze. Okay, how am I going to get better at running? And I stopped weight training as much. I stopped I weight trained in a maintenance way, so I wanted to keep the strength that I had. If it went down a little bit, that's fine. If I lose some muscle mass, that's fine. But I wanted to keep my joints really strong, stay really light because it helps to be lighter when you're a runner. So I still weight trained, but in a way to maintain my strength and the integrity in my joints and things like this to keep me running well. So I've learned a lot, and I knew this before, but I never experienced it. So when I experienced it myself, I really learned the power of resistance training in a way to enhance whatever sport you're focusing on. So if you want to gain muscle and weight train a ton, go for it. But if you're trying to get better at something like running or surfing, you really need to weight train in a way that's going to enhance that sport a bit better. So for me, I really started to enjoy running the most the last year because my body was finally in a shape, in a form that was the best for running. It was a little bit leaner, a little bit lighter, less weight training, so less stress on my body. Sleeping more, taking better care of my nutrition. I always was on top of this, but changed a few things.
Yeah. Tweaked it a little bit.
Yeah,
even.
just tweaked little things to really take running more seriously, and running became so much more enjoyable because I got better at it. no pain, no knee pain, no anything like this. So no injuries, nothing like this. And so, yeah, it's really important to, choose whatever sport you want to do and just be smart about how you're training for it. Because also I think that's something that a lot of people fall back on or let slip through the cracks, is that running is also should be treated as like, a sport. So you need to do things outside of just running to make it more enjoyable for yourself. And I think there's always a time and a place for a little bit of weight training, or resistance training is maybe a better word, because you don't necessarily need weights.
You can do calisthenics.
Yeah, exactly.
For example.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you, by the way, contacted this running coach? I gave you that number, Ron?
Yes, I haven't met with him yet, but we
you
chatted.
talked?
Yes.
You told him, yeah.
Yeah, I said it was your
cool.
my
I
friend.
texted him on the weekend. He's really amazing.
Yeah.
He has very extreme kind of approach to everything, because he is he's like he's really into meditation and acupuncture, like Japanese things.
Yeah,
and
like
he's
these holistic health practices.
exactly,
Yeah.
and he's very, very he's like only vegan. So he's very like I came to him a few times and he was giving me those advices like, okay, you should not eat any wheat, like any flour, anything from flour, any sugar, and was another thing I forgot, like, so like no fruits even, and really extreme, like what do I eat, like cucumbers and water and
tomatoes.
I'm already like very skinny guy, I don't want to to lose more weight. But this will do really good for you, and so he's a bit extreme, but he's very inspiring. So you can see that you can feel the longevity, because he's not he has some experience. I think he's 55 or 60 even. Yeah. And he used to do Ironman, full on Ironman.
Yeah. So he's got experience in that for sure.
Yeah, he trained his partner, girlfriend or partner to do an Ironman, and she did Ironman Cascais. I think last year or this year.
Okay. Was it just passed? Was it in October?
I don't know if it's one of I really want to do that once, because I could definitely do the swimming, and I think I can handle I need to work out for that. I think if I practice for a marathon, I think I would be able to do that.
Yeah.
But I have zero experience with cycling. Zero experience, and this is like what makes Ironman so complicated, because it's a lot of gear and money, and you need to adjust your car and you need to have all the
it's a huge investment. I mean, in time and financially, like it's a huge investment. But that's cool that you want to do that.
I mean, someday have you cycled?
No.
No?
No, actually. One of my good friends, he's a pretty avid cycler. And me and a girlfriend of mine and him went to Sintra for a cycle one day, and like all through these mountains, I think it was 6 hours total. We just rented these like bikes, like these casual, I don't even know what kind of bike you call it, just the bike that you learn on when you're a kid. And we took these bikes, we rented them from someplace in town, and thought, it'll be fine, we'll be able to cycle through. It was so hard.
It's hard.
Like, if you don't have the right gear,
you have to have the right gear.
Really, but it's exhausting. I mean, hills, I don't know. Like,
it's also a very good sport, by the way. It's very good sport.
I do like it. I mean, I like what I know of it. I'm not a cycler, but it seems like something I would enjoy. But I just don't know enough about it right now.
Absolutely. There's one thing I really wanna start doing is cycling. I'm afraid of the roads.
Yeah.
There was a famous story in Israel. There was a guy. He's like a ex-Navy SEAL military person. And after he finishes military service, he became like this Ironman, kind of like he did like Ironman Hawaii, Ironman there. He was like investing all his life into that. And he was cycling on the road 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning in Israel. And he got hit by a car and died. And the person who hit him escaped the scene. Didn't even
hit and run.
yeah, and they found him. There was cameras or something. They found the guy, and he was drunk and high. A young kid from like a very good family with no any background of nothing. He just got panicked. But the problem was that this guy, this Navy SEAL guy, was he was the son. I mean, his father was like a main big judge in Israel. So this guy got like
annihilated.
Yeah. Annihilated for the whole, like for I don't know how to say that in English, but for other people to kind of like, okay, don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, don't.
Well, he was like a
of course,
example.
look, he killed a guy. You cannot escape that. No matter what happened. But just crazy story, and it happened all the time. Also in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, but you even see. I mean, that's something that scares me with cycling is the road rage that people get. My friends. I mean, I'll even be in a car and people just hate cyclers on the road.
Yeah.
And I don't really have a problem with them. I don't know. It was like weird for me not to have a problem with them in Australia because a lot of my Australian friends like hated cyclers. They would always, kind of veer closer to them to kind of scare them or something. And you see cars doing it all the time, honking, going really close to the cyclers to kind of like give them a bit of a fright off the road.
Yeah.
Super dangerous. I mean, someone did this to me recently when I was running. And there's some roads around here that don't have sidewalks. And I was running and I had my headphones in, but I don't have my music loud enough to be totally in my head. I don't have noise cancellation. And I heard this car coming behind me, and he was just speeding towards me, leaving me no room on the side of the road. And then he beeps at me after he passes me to be like, get off the road, na. And I mean, I don't know. I just thought, fair, I'm a pedestrian running on the street, but there was no one else on these roads, so he could have moved over as a 2-lane street. Could have moved over. It was a straight line. There was no curves. It was not really, there's such a broad amount of space.
Yeah, just being aggressive, basically.
And just being aggressive.
Yeah.
And just for his own, for his own mood, and I see this a lot with cycling, and that kind of terrifies me. I would not want to get hit by a car while I'm on a bike,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is the one thing that scares me about cycling.
Yeah.
Anyway, so just to summary this thing. So you recommend when you go for a running goal or a running adventure, not to lift as much. Actually, kind of like reduce your other thing. Maybe do a bit of calisthenic and not put too much pressure. It
depends on what period you're in with your running. So there's like a periodization in terms of usually annual. So you look at if you're a serious, athlete or hobby athlete or whatever, but if you have a goal, so say you have a marathon in October, a year before your marathon, you could lift. You could do, and there's a specific programs that you could lift for strength gain, for power gain, that's going to enhance your running down the line. But as soon as you start getting closer and closer to that race day, you want to start tapering or like coming off of the weights a little bit more and just work on maintenance. So it depends on how far out you are from your specific sport event. But in general, there's kind of a time and place for lifting for something like running. And it would be, but if you're running races all throughout the year, then lifting heavy weights like 8 reps or 10 reps of like your heaviest weight is not really going to help you, because you're now lifting weights to kind of fall in a hypertrophy phase. So it's really, you have to be really detailed with your training program for sure. But I'm a huge fan of less weights, calisthenics, especially if weight training is not your thing. I think there's a ton of benefit that can come from just body weight training, going to the calisthenics park, doing stuff at home as well that have proved to me even I've done this more the last year or 2 years than my entire life, and I've seen huge progress in my fitness from something like this. So
epic. Yeah. And your run club.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it.
Are you gonna join?
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah. What's your pace? You run 7 kilometers?
7 and almost 8. Honestly, it's like 7.7, 7.8. But it depends on who's there. So like in a couple weeks ago, I was with people that were like miles taller than me and definitely more experienced runners than me. So we ran like a 5 5:20 pace.
Oh, that's fast.
For me, it's very fast. I mean,
Yeah, for me it's super
for
fast.
7.5 kilometers, it's quite quick.
Yeah, it's very quick. I can run if I really push. Like right now, and I'm not in any shape at all. At all. I mean, I have two. You've seen my daughters. I have two daughters.
Yeah,
and
you're busy.
yeah, very busy. But yeah, I can run 6:20, 6:30.
Yeah. Oh my god. I mean, for my casual, easy pace, 6:30.
And I've done some running at last spring. I did some running. I did a round around from where I live in São Julião and around like that trail on Foz, above Foz, but those hills.
Yeah.
And then there is a huge hill in Valbom, like massive hill, like killing
Is this
you.
the one just after São Julião?
So imagine
Like going to like I can't remember the name. But
it's called Valbom.
Okay.
It's like a little valley.
Yeah.
And there's maybe 5 or 10 houses the whole neighborhood. There is also like a big, not a big, but like a luxury boutique hotel.
Okay.
It's called Villa Valbom.
Okay.
So it's kind of famous. And just next to Villa Valbom, you have, I don't know the incline and how do you calculate everything, but it's like massive. It's massive. It's really, and just when you start to see it, and you start to have like a terrible, like, and no, but it's really improving you running an incline.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
it's really improve you.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to join, but I wouldn't want to be like those people on the. Or you stick together somehow.
Well,
How
if
does it
it's
work?
a couple of people, if it's like 3 or 4 of us, we stick together because there's not like we just end up having a conversation. We just go at like a conversational pace, so it's really chill. But I've had a couple of clubs where people are definitely going faster. That people are hanging out way behind. I'm kind of floating around in the middle. But I really want to encourage people to go whatever pace you want. We have some people going, like just going a quarter of what we do and then come back because they don't want to do the whole 7K. So it depends. I leave it up to everyone. And eventually, hopefully, when it grows and more people join, it's really go at your own pace. There's a bit more pressure when it's less people to keep up with the group because if you're with 2 others, But no, I mean, it's whatever pace you want to go.
Yeah, the length, I'm not worried that much about the length. 7.5 kilometers, okay, but the pace is what.
Yeah, no, I think you'd kill it. I think you'd be really good.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
No, I was actually, this is one of the reasons, I told you, I wanted to talk to you, get more information about the running club. It sounds like a cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Cool thing. Okay, so next topic, I want to talk to you about Portugal and Ericeira, and a little bit about like the comparison from your childhood life in the USA. How do you? I mean, in a way, people call Ericeira like the California of Europe. How do you take that? I mean, do you think there is resemblance, or you think Europe and Portugal? Of course, it's completely 180 degrees from everything that is American.
Yeah.
But how do you take that?
I didn't grow up in California, so I don't know about California. I've been there multiple times, but in terms of, also America, very hard to talk about as a country because it's so different. I mean,
diverse.
Very. Like where I was born in the Midwest, I was born near a big city, but Midwest mentality, lifestyle is super different to East Coast versus West Coast. But coming to Europe, I mean, I would say in all, America though, for the most part, mentality-wise, they're very, like they're doers. They want to do everything all at once.
East Coast.
I would say all of the states for the most part. So especially the urban areas, so cities. People want to do stuff all the time. very fast-paced. You almost need to prove yourself in terms of what you study and what your work is. People talk about work all the time. It's
How much you make.
how much you make, and you're just trying to make money. Like, money is huge there. Like,
Yeah.
you want success. No one will admit it, but success in people's minds is how much money you make. And
Yeah.
so to make a lot of money, you need to work hard. So people are working a ton, making a ton of money, or, have to rely on student loans, or they're in debt, so they have to make that money back. Like, money is, like, everywhere. And coming here, kind of growing up around that mentality, that was completely normal for me. And that's something that, I was just used to having around me all the time. Then coming here, to be honest, when I first came to Europe, it was like I could just relax for a second. I felt like way less pressure, way less, I didn't feel like I have to do something all the time. So that was my initial feeling. But I think there is definitely a difference between, I think Americans, again, don't want to speak generally, but in my experience, Americans are too much. I mean, in a lot of ways. And then in Portugal here, I find sometimes I feel like I need a little bit more. This is my personal opinion. And so I feel...
A little bit more?
Yes, in terms of maybe work. I think Ericeira in general isn't really a place that people come to, grow super successful businesses unless they already exist and you're trying to just work on that remotely. But the work scene doesn't really exist here. You get a lot of remote workers working on their own projects, but in terms of like work culture, I don't really find it super apparent here, which is great because that's why a lot of people come here. They come here for the lifestyle. They don't come here for work.
Yeah.
Again, people are working on their own little things and their remote projects, and of course you have the studio, and and my work is here as well, but that's a huge difference that I see going back to Chicago. Even when I go visit now, it's like work is just in every single conversation. It's all around you. People
what do you do?
Yeah,
How much
what
you make?
do you do? Like my sister.
What do you drive? What's your mortgage?
Exactly.
What's your this?
And they're all wearing suits and like polos and whatever, briefcases and the whole thing.
Yeah, Chicago, of course, it's a huge
and
industrial, like a huge everything. It's a big city.
Yeah, it is. And it's cool to be around this to an extent. I definitely feel like I miss a little bit of that here. Just a touch. But then I go back to Chicago and I'm like, whoa, you guys gotta chill.
But I think that Ericeira is growing because I think with the amount of investment I mean, like just the other day I was at Imerso.
Yeah.
I had a coffee with a friend over there who stayed there for a night, for a couple of nights. And the place looked like somebody invested a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I think people invest to get the returns. And I think it's coming.
Yeah.
But I don't think it will get out of control, especially not in Ericeira.
Yeah.
It will be, as you said, like people come here for the lifestyle. But I think it will get a bit more competitive, maybe a little bit more. It's already got a bit more fast.
Definitely.
Yeah, which many people are opposed. Locals and not locals. I mean, many people are like, "What's happening to this place?"
Yeah.
And but in a way, it's inevitable. And
I think it happens everywhere.
Yeah, it happens
That's just the harsh
everywhere,
truth.
but I completely get what you say, but I think it will get there. That like this bit of salt and pepper you're missing.
Yeah, I think.
Just in those 4 years you are here, because you're here more or less we are the same. So things already like
For sure.
you see a bit more nightlife scene, a bit more like there was those little pubs like this. I think it's called Mamita.
Yes.
And right now
This new one,
it's
this
changed
wine
and it's a
bar,
bit more upscale.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm not saying it's a good or bad. What was nice and this is nice. Both are nice, but just the overall like feeling is like, okay, we some things we will use the the old context
Yeah.
and kind of create something a bit new
Yeah,
inside.
yeah, exactly. I definitely feel, I mean, it's changing for sure. And I hear a lot of projects going on that are up and coming, and they're huge projects, and they're going to change.
Maybe share with us.
I don't know if I can share.
If you can't, don't.
I think I can't. I don't know, so I won't.
It's okay, good.
But
Don't want to put you on a spot.
yeah, there's some big things I think happening, and that they're going to change the town forever. I mean, and yeah, it's inevitable. This stuff happens to villages like this all the time, all over the place. But yeah, I'm not sure in terms of like work, unless there becomes more local jobs available that make sense for people to get. I don't see like a huge work culture being ever here. I mean, not ever, but you know, a place like Chicago has a lot of skyscrapers and buildings and companies and corporations. Here, I just don't know if.
So I think that the generation of my kids, so they are 6 and 2. So in 15 years, I would say, you know, 20 years. I think the working habits will be different. I think it will be way more online.
Definitely.
I think it will be. I think it will be completely. I don't want to use the term metaverse because it's kind of like got overused and a bit ruined. But I think it will be that. You know, you'd be working a lot online, and you would be also hanging as we are right now in a sort of a metaverse, and we do big percent of what we do online.
Yeah.
So I think there will be a scene of it will be people will work, but they will do it online.
Yeah.
More and more and more.
Yeah.
And for example, people like you, just for example, that cater physical places like not just fitness trainers, but also restaurants and bars. This will be opportunity to cater the people who work in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Like you will have the people who work in different companies and different projects online, and you will have the people who give some sort of a local service.
Yeah, that's true.
Here and everywhere. And so I think the physical, your physical location won't be so much important once the tax, because this is a bit of a problem. You see, you work with Israel, you work with the States, and you need to organize the tax issues. And it's become a burden for you and for the company who hires you. Okay, exactly. Where do we pay the tax? What's the social security? All those things when this will get sorted, and it will, because it's technical. They won't force people to not work. It doesn't make any logic. So I think it will be the same.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like you said, more and more people are working remote, and I think that's going to stay. You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
But not only working in terms of, okay, I'm a graphic designer and I stay in a hostel and kind of just taking care of myself. You know, like, because you see many of the nomads. What I see is they are not. I don't know. I'm just hypothesizing. I don't know if it's that sufficient. You know, it's usually kind of like not usually, but big. I assume that some percentage are there are more gigs, and I don't know if it's as sufficient as like a full-on Chicago guy or a Chicago business woman would do. Like,
yeah, I think
But it will come.
Yes.
That you will be able to do that.
Yeah, I think. I was just I watched like these lectures on startups and how this remote work is actually just not as efficient and effective as working in a team, even if you're all working around your computers, all in your own zone. If you're like around people in an office space, people seem to just have a lot more efficiency in terms of work. They're a lot happier. I mean, of course, like you're around people, you know. So I find that really interesting. But for you, like, were you working in like an office space before? Have you always kind of been remote? Or?
Never worked in an office space. Just touch on that. I think that you will have a better work experience online.
Yeah.
I think many companies are investing right now. So you have those. It looks weird, but
The VR things.
yeah, I think you would be. I think it will be possible to do like something like we are doing right now.
Yeah.
It's already. I've seen it happens, but it will be like very accessible. Like you'd have like a VR glasses, and you'll be in a conference room, and the other people in the conference room would have a VR glass, and they would see you as a projection in. So it won't be the same, but it.
I think you're. I mean, I didn't even think. Of course, there's companies and businesses doing something to improve the remote work experience for sure. I mean,
no, this is technology thing.
Yeah.
So this is like something with. I get what you say. I think working in a space with people, it's way more enriching, way more good for your mental health and for your brainstorming and everything you want to do. You do it in a room, but I think of course it will stay, but the online will keep on growing, and the technology that supports that will also keep on growing as well.
No, I like it. I mean, I'm like craving to work remote, you know? I mean, I love my business and everything that it's been, but yeah, the attraction of just having a laptop, going to Morocco or Mexico for a month, still being able to work, you know, it's super nice. I mean, I think remote work is great. Yeah. But yeah, let's just see how
of course
how it kind of evolves, you know.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So, Merit, what's your plans for the future?
So, as you may or may not know, I'm leaving the coaching in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So what's that all about?
So I've been doing classes for 3 years now, about 3 years, and I've been wanting to since day one. I've had this.
Now you're rich enough.
No, I mean I've done well with saving the money that I'm going to.
I'm joking. You don't need to give me your financial
back into the business, into some projects with the business. In terms of I want to scale the business to be able to work remote, pretty much. It doesn't have to be full time. I really love being involved with people. I'm a really social person, so that part of my work I want to keep to some extent. But coaching in person is time consuming, and the rate at which I was teaching was a couple of classes a day, a couple of clients a day, and it's in and out of the house all the time. And I love the work, but I was like, I need to change something because I can't do this forever. And unfortunately, my business would just close every time I left. So if I wanted to go home for 3 weeks or wanted to go for a month, my business closed. I was like, all right, this isn't sustainable, So I can just see that I'm not going to keep doing this.
You want to stop trading time for money.
Yes. Yeah.
So are you planning to do some sort of a course or some sort of a online?
Yeah. So I'm really
online app.
Yeah. So pretty much taking everything I do in person, putting it online and more. So the online we'll have online programs. We're going to have featured coaches working alongside me. A bit more nutrition as well. We're going to go from a nutrition angle. And then I would love to keep doing classes with other coaches as well, but this won't happen again until the spring. Unfortunately, location is a huge thing for me, and I had to cancel all of my classes in, October, because of rain.
Really rainy.
So winter, going on a hiatus or maybe indefinitely with the classes, at least for me. I'm not going to go back to coaching. But maybe other coaches will. But taking everything online, but online programs, huge time and financial investment. I mean, you need to film, you need to record, you need to edit, you need to create the program, you need to market. Marketing is huge, So it's really putting a lot of time and money into something that I've wanted to do since day one, but I just got so distracted by in-person coaching, and that was, maybe distraction is the wrong word, but that's what my focus was for the last few years. But it's too time consuming to be able to focus on the other the other aspect. So I really kind of bit the bullet and said, okay, I'm going to leave in December and then
Burn
put
the
all
boats.
yeah. And just put my time into doing that, building the online platform.
Would it be like an app or something?
Yeah, so it'll be an app and a website. And the website, yeah, it'll be kind of like a storefront for a lot of things, you know, online programs. There's going to be a big community aspect on the website as well. Some merchandise, hopefully in later 2024.
Nice.
And yeah, building more of a brand than
Okay.
a personal business. So,
That's nice. That's really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I really admire your aspirations.
Thank you.
And just a question, technical question. So, how do you, when you train someone in an online platform, how do you supervise their?
So you could do two things.
Is that a good question?
Yeah, I understand. Like, how do you manage the
No.
client?
Yeah. How do you?
Like, how do you coach the clients?
How do you manage that that they are not injuring themselves, that they are doing exactly the right amount of repetition, that they are following the.
Yeah.
How do you keep the motivation up?
Yeah. So this is
level up.
Yeah, this is a big thing with online coaching. Is you will definitely have tiers of what people will pay for. The highest amount that people will spend is on a private coach online, and what they're spending money on is not just the program, but the accountability that coach brings. So
Okay.
this coach more than likely will be calling you at least once or twice a week, sending you video updates every single day, check-ins, checking your program every day, making sure that you did the workout. If you didn't do the workout, there's a lot of there's some softwares, True Coach and Trainer Eyes and all these things that you can work with clients through. So you build them a program and then they do it. You get a notification once they complete the workout. You can see what reps and weights they used, and if it was something that you didn't program for them, you can say, hey, I see you did only 10 kilos for the squat instead of 20. Is there a reason? Or they can just say, oh, it's too heavy, or I was too tired. So you're really talking with them all the time. So this is like probably the highest paying tier that you would have. Then you dwindle down and you can say, sell people a coaching experience that would say, okay, you get one check-in a month. I give you the program for 6 weeks. We don't talk for 6 weeks. You do the program, then we check back every, 6 weeks or whatever. And then you can do an off-the-shelf product where that's what I'm going to focus on doing for now, where you build these programs and then just sell them to people. And you say, you create these programs and then... it's like an off-the-shelf product. So they just have the program in front of you, and
so like legs month or upper body
or like
course
a 6-week functional training program.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing, building at the moment. I think these are great options for people that know a little bit about fitness. So in all honesty, there's definitely courses for beginners. Beginners in fitness, you can definitely buy an online program and it can work great for you. But online programs off the shelf, if you're just buying a program and you're not gonna talk to the coach at all, you're never gonna have contact. These are great for busy people, people that know how to exercise or have some experience. They just want to get a program and be able to do themselves. These are and what's the word I'm looking for? Self-motivated people, disciplined people that just know, okay, I'm gonna buy this program. It's 3 workouts a week. I'm gonna do it. So for someone like me, I could do this easily. I don't have to pay for a personal coach because I have the discipline myself to just buy a program and do it myself.
Okay.
So there's definitely different tiers, but if you're a personal online coach talking to your client all the time, that is a whole another sphere of being an online coach because it's super, time consuming. I have friends that do it and they seem to be really good at it. I tried it. I just don't like it, to be honest. I don't like it. I feel really unpersonal. I would rather, if I'm going to be someone's personal trainer, I'd rather train them in person, to be honest.
Physically,
yes.
In the room with them.
Yes.
And how would they get the gear? Do you take into consideration that everyone has the right gear? How is that going to work? For For example, like getting a bench, getting the things. Some people don't have the space.
Yeah.
I'm just curious,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what's the future of
Yeah, I think
of
there
the-
you need to be smart with if you are. So if you're a private personal trainer online, you work with your client, you talk to your client, what do you have at the gym or what do you have at home? Let's work with that. But if you don't have that communication and you're just selling an off-the-shelf product to a customer, you need to take into consideration what do most gyms have. If they're buying a gym program, usually these programs can be divided into gym program or an at-home program.
Okay.
At home, don't use any equipment, okay? Because you don't know if people have bands. You don't know what kind of bands they have. You don't know if they have a mat. Do no equipment. And if people want to add a little weight in there, like it's intuitive, they can pick up a weight and add it to into the exercise, or you can mention that in the program. But you really need to, have a bit of experience with what gyms do and don't have. Almost all the gyms will have a bench. Almost all the gyms will have a dumbbell. So taking into consideration that, but also providing, options. So, if you don't have a pull-up bar, use a lat bar or use a dumbbell and do a row. You have to create the program in a way that's very flexible and versatile for people.
Okay,
Because-
it's very you need to really think.
Yeah,
through.
program won't sell if it's too specific on its equipment because not every gym has it. So, just have to just have a bit of experience with what gyms have. Hop around some gyms and kind of take note on the equipment there, and
And it's all. And it's all gonna come down to, of course, the quality of the program and the marketing, as you said.
Yeah.
So you yourself would need to be like the forefront, like the influencer, the person. You need to be
Yeah, this is something I actually struggled with a lot.
content creation.
Yeah, because they say also with coaching, you don't buy the program, you buy the coach.
Yeah.
And this can be nice because you are your own unique selling point. You're your own person, so you are a personality that people are gonna like. And so in terms of competition, it's kind of relieving because there's only one of you. So like, okay, people are just gonna be attracted to me for me. That's great, but also this means you have to be the face of the brand, the face of the business. And sometimes it's exhausting. You can't really have a bad day if you're the face of your business, especially when it comes to training, because training isn't just a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. People want to train in the night or on the weekend. So if you want to be posting stuff and talking to people and being really active on your social media, like you have to be a positive personality.
Of course, which you are.
Which I think,
but everyone has those ups and downs.
And you never know when they're gonna come, and that's the worst. When something unexpected happens, and then you're like, shit, I have to like teach 18 classes, or I have to post something, and I have to, you get used to it, but it is exhausting. But I think there's always exhausting things with work.
Yeah, of course.
There's always downsides.
I had many. Those conversation with strategic advisors, and I actually helped a very good friend of mine. In the beginning, he was my client, and now we are very good friends. And he's coaching as well online. He's not coaching physically. He's doing. He's teaching speed reading, which is like
okay, cool.
And he's like. And the thing is, basically the vector of the whole thing is is as you said, is you. It's all come down to content and algorithms and kind of like reaching the audience and getting. And this is a very, and basically you would need to have. Your influence is very crucial.
Yeah.
To the success in a way. So this is something. It's an important. It's an important subject.
It's like everything, I think.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate and fortunate because By the way, and this is this is why basically I opened that space for content creators.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about it in the beginning, but it kind of slipped through our conversation. So I found that having conversation like that is way more easier for people to just say their to share their knowledge. And of course, it's not, you cannot take that and make that in every on every person, on every subject, on everything. But technically, just having a panel or a few people or a couple of people talking about like something, and then cutting it to bits and pieces, snippets of like important things and knowledge that you share with your people. And I basically built that place to cater the people that want to be selling their knowledge in a way. So this is like the logo is just customizable. So you imagine you can put your own thing here. I'm not selling it to you, but I'm like explaining whoever watches this, so you can use this space
definitely
to create your own, kind of mold your own
for sure
ideas into it. So you can have a television set behind, so you can project things, and you can do some online. You can have like someone in Brazil, and you can have him on your thing, and he can be on the computer, and he can be. So it's like you can use this space for easy content creation.
I think it's super important. I mean, it's great because it gives people like me or other kind of content-driven people a platform to share better content. I mean,
exactly.
And,
not everyone. So I understand that not every. So you have the technical part, which is okay. Put the camera, the sound is all that thing, which is annoying as it is as itself. Like just film yourself, and even with the phone. And then you have the actual content, the actual thing. And this is also something which it needs to be dead. Like, should I write it? Should I put a teleprompter? What should I do? And just as I think this could be beneficial for many people who want to be solopreneurs, who want to have their own app, who want to have their own.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't know. I mean, I'm still learning so much about social media. For example,
it's
crazy.
Cannot finish learning because everything is changing all the time.
All the time. You don't know what people are gonna like versus not. And to be honest, I never posted for other people. At the beginning, I was just posting workout videos, just filming it, putting some cool music, and that's it, and having fun with it. But now, as business grows and you want to take it more seriously and more professionally, it's super important to have at least a bit of an understanding on what is going to benefit your business. And I just find it super interesting. I mean, I'm loving to learn about it, and marketing and social media and all of this stuff. I think it's really fascinating.
Unbelievable.
But hard.
Unfortunately,
unfortunately,
the algorithm as it looks now, it's really attracts polarization. So what happens, like just for instance, the last couple of months, with Israel and the war. So it's like, it seems like taking over,
it's everywhere.
Taking over the internet just because it's something that nobody agrees upon.
Yes.
So and it's and it creates fire, and fire create more fire, and it's and on one hand, and it's like. So you almost need to be provocative. I mean, just even in a political way. I mean, to gain thing, and so it's. I hope the algorithm will change in a way. So like get people a bit more like not necessarily as aggressive and not necessarily as yellow.
Right, but do you think it ever will? Because I think that's what gets interaction.
That's what scares me. That's what scares me because I think the algorithm is winning. Like it's kind of like I don't know. It's like how to say that. Like it's overcoming the creator. Like nobody can control it.
No,
because
exactly.
it's a machine learning algorithm that basically says as much as a person stays on a post, as much as comments and what kind of comments is on a post, this is we will expose it more to other people, and what happens is that the one that people spends more time are actually the bad ones. I mean, not the bad ones, but the ones that
Yeah.
creates that the more provocative ones or the
Yes.
more fire
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah, exactly. Like the bigger voice, you know, like
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's such a weird thing. Yeah, it's really strange, but I think like, yeah, these kind of provocative posts or anything that you see, like that's just what gets attention,
Yeah.
and then it gets interaction, which is more users, and that's what these platforms want is
Yeah.
more users,
Yeah.
because then all of a sudden
More
we become
time. It's
yeah.
even more time. They want
Yeah.
your time.
Exactly. And then we become reliant on it. And so over time, like you become addicted to the platform, and then that's where you have all your conversations. And then that's where we are now. I mean, everyone is addicted to,
Everyone is
you know,
addicted
their
to
phone.
Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. I don't know.
Let's see how it will play out.
Yeah.
Let's not
I
let's
know.
not end this great
Yeah, I know,
conversation
I
with
know.
a
Like
pessimistic.
we're all doomed.
Yeah. No, it will be okay. It
Yeah.
will be okay.
Yeah. Really
Hey,
good.
you know, it was really good talking to you. It was really interesting.
Likewise. Yeah.
Absolutely. We had
Yeah.
a really good time.
Yes.
And come and do it again.
I will.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm going to bring some friends, and we can have all these crazy conversations.
Yeah.
and things.
I don't know if you checked, but there is like a whole pricing, and
Okay.
there is like
Nice.
similar like tiers and
Yeah.
packages. You can
Nice.
do that as
Perfect.
again. I'm not selling you, but if
Yeah.
you
No,
ever want to
sold
do
me already.
something,
I'm really keen on it. So yeah. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank
It's
you.
super fun.